What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. Good morning to you lot. Again, I'm going to do my weatherman thing. Hope you're enjoying the weather wherever you are in the world. It is still hot here in England. So that's like weather update number 4 done. Still like 28 degrees, but it's a little bit cooler though, to be fair, in the night. Weatherman thing done. Paul Pogba. That is going to be the Manchester United transfer news for this morning. It was kind of breaking towards the end of last night, sort of back end of the evening into the night. And a lot of people have had their say on this. If you don't know what's happened over the past sort of 24 hours, maybe past sort of 12, 15 hours, this is from the Mirror, and the Mirror reporting strong on this. Now, you have to take this with a little bit of pinch of salt. We're going to talk about it and hypotheticals and what this can mean. But the Mirror are reporting that Paul Pogba has rejected a new 350 grand a week contract at Manchester United and is set to leave the club this summer. PSG are ready to pay 45 million for Pogba, but Manchester United are only willing to sanction his sale if their 50 million valuation of him is met. They go on to say that the club aren't willing to let the midfielder run down his contract, which is my biggest fear, but will only sell if their 50 million valuation is met. Now, look, the source, David McDonald from the Daily Mail. Now, look, I don't know loads about David McDonald, but I do know he works for the Daily Mirror. But also you look at who follows him. And look, this isn't a direct thing to say he 100% is credible, but it just gives you a feel. The people that follow him are Fabrizio Romano. You've got all of the sort of BBC kind of following him. Fjortov follows him. Simon Stone follows him, etc., etc. So you can get a feel from what the Manchester United Foundation follows him, Rio Ferdinand follows him. So, you know, there's Manchester Evening News follow him. So look, he's obviously a real journalist. So it's not just someone that's plucked out there, because, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, it's the Daily Mail, it doesn't mean anything, and it might not mean anything. I'm just discussing what's out there and giving you a little bit of kind of context and background to who said it and what they said. But let's go down to what David has said and claimed, that Paul Pogba was turned down a 350k a week deal because he wants to leave and Manchester United want to sell him. I tweeted this as well, and it gets mixed reactions. A lot of people agreed though. The Pogba situation has always been quite easy for me, really easy, and I don't know how it's been for you. Let me know in the comments below. I just think I want Paul Pogba to stay, because I think we're a much better team with him in it. And I think that with the players that we're looking at getting, Paul Pogba can be a massive integral part of that. I know we've been there, kind of said it before when he first came, but I truly believe with this squad here, of where it's at, of its evolution, to keep Paul Pogba plus get Varane, get Sancho and another central midfielder, I honestly believe we're there or thereabouts. People can talk about the manager, and when it really comes down to it, we'll wait and see how the season pans out. But in terms of the squad, with Paul Pogba in there, we're almost a finished article. Almost, pretty much. We've got all the tools to challenge. If he doesn't want to stay at this football club because he's rejected a new deal, I've always said he has to leave. He has to leave, and that's not bitter. That's not ridding your hands of him because I think he's been crap and all of that. I want him to stay, but at the end of the day, you can't make a player stay against his will. Paul Pogba deserves to go and play somewhere else and not be held against his will if he doesn't want to play here. And we deserve to have a player not on our books anymore who isn't committed to staying here because of his own reasons. Now, I don't come from the background of saying that Paul Pogba was unprofessional, he hasn't been trying, his attitude's poor, he's bad influence on the players in the dressing room, because I just don't believe those things are true. I don't think they've ever been true. I think we know what the virus thing happened under Jose Mourinho. I didn't believe that for 1 second. You speak to any player or anyone around the club, they'll tell you how influential Paul Pogba is around the place. Don't get me wrong. The fiasco that goes on with his agent, I agree. That's not healthy for the club, and that's probably unsettling. So from that point of view, he could be unsettling to the squad. But in terms of him as a person, as a people's person, as a club player, people only have good things to say about him, and you can see the way the group loves him. So I'm not having any of that media bullshit that, you know, he's a cancer in the dressing room, he's a virus, he's a this, he's a that. I don't buy into that. But what I do buy into is lack of wanting to sign a contract. You can. There's no other ways to read that. Will you commit your future to us and prove you want to be here for the next 2 or 3 years? No, I don't. I don't want to sign that. Why don't you want to sign it? Well, because I don't want to be here for the next 2 or 3 years. Just basic football business. That doesn't make him a bad person. Doesn't make him a bad player. Doesn't make him... It makes him not committed to Manchester United, but you can be not committed to Manchester United for many reasons. And if you're upfront about that and you have those discussions and you don't want it, then leave. Do you know what I mean? Paul Pogba deserves to move on, and so do we. Another thing is as well is, and this is a big if, because this is only one kind of real strong report that's come out and said this. If, in capital I, capital F, it's true and he's rejected 350 grand a week, that's a little bit less than David De Gea. All right, cool. Maybe there's a little bit of negotiation room there to be at least on the same. But to smash the 400 grand a week mark and smash our wage budget out the water for Paul Pogba, who potentially doesn't want to be here, or he's rejecting that sum of money, must know something we don't know. Maybe I assume he thinks he can get more at PSG, or maybe he might not get. Maybe he might get the same at PSG, but he prefers the project because they're going to win stuff instantly. Who knows? I don't know enough about that. But my gut feeling is, well, not even my gut feeling, my feeling as a Man United fan who always wants to put the club first is, if you're turning down 350k a week, we've done our bit. You can't accuse Manchester United of not trying to keep Paul Pogba. You can accuse Manchester United of not being as efficient in this situation and not maybe acting as quickly as they could have done to avoid going into this situation where Pogba has all the cards. Definitely accuse us of that. And I would agree with anyone who criticises the club of how they've handled it. But at the same time, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. As a fan, I want to say that because it looks like that at face value. Why have we let him go down to the last year? We should have pushed him. We should have made him sign last year. We should have made this. We should have made that. For all we know, they could have had initial conversations, which none of us fans are aware of. None of the insiders or the agents would be aware. Sorry, the journalists in this country or abroad. They could have had conversations that none of us knew about, where they could have had a conversation with Paul Pogba and said, so about that contract, do you want to sit down, have a chat? Paul Pogba and Real could be saying, nah, we'll talk when there's 1 year left, mate. Do you know what I mean? We don't know, because United, for me, when United enforced that extension, because it was enforced, Paul Pogba didn't have a choice. When they triggered that option to stay for an extra year and add that on, it was almost like they went, right, that'll just buy us another year. But in that year, nothing was really sorted. I think Paul Pogba was injured. He wasn't really playing very well. Then the second half of the season, he got his act together and he started to get some consistency and was a big player for us. But I feel like that year wasn't really spent in the right way, because if it was, I don't think we'd be in this position. Having said that, maybe Pogba said no. Like I said, maybe Pogba did say that, but it does look like bad planning from our point of view. But I back the club in terms of, we tried to keep him. We've offered him a 350k a week contract for however many years, 3 or 4 year deal. He said no. What do you want us to do? And also, this is where it gets interesting, because I've always maintained that if he doesn't sign, you have to sell him. And the noise is coming out of Manchester United is that they, PSG, they want 50 million pounds for him. They're not willing to sanction a deal for what he's not worth, which is less than 50 million with 1 year on his contract. I think 50 million pounds, which is like 60 odd million euros ish. I think that's about right for Pogba, 50 million pounds. I know it's touted as 50 million euros, which is a little bit less than what I think he's worth, considering how good he is and how long he can still play at his top level. He's in his peak. And that's with the 1 year taken into consideration. I think that's fair, between 50 and 60 million. I tried to tell KD this a long time ago. He still thinks we should get back the 90, which was never going to happen. Probably wouldn't even get back the 90 even if he had 2 years on his contract, because he might be viewed as hasn't even been playing that well, sort of thing. But he's a commodity, I suppose. A superstar is going to sell his shirt, so we'd probably get that. But anyway, we're not going to get that. He's in his last year. So where I stand with us is that I don't mind us saying, no, we're not selling him for 40. We're not going to sell him on a cheap. We're not going to send him for 40 million. But we do have to accept that, similar to with the Varane situation, which we'll talk a little bit about in the show, later on in the show, similar to the Varane situation, is that the player kind of holds the cards. They're going into the last year of the contract. And if you want to cash in, you better come proper if you want to cash in, because someone's going to play poker with you. The same way we're doing to Real Madrid. We're almost about to get the Real Madrid treatment from PSG, which is them coming in saying, we know he wants to leave. He don't want to play for you. He wants to cut. And he's in his last year of his contract. So if you don't sell him to us for this cut price of XYZ, then we'll just say to Paul Pogba, all right, cool. Jam there for another year. We'll sort out in January, bro. Shake hands. Here's even a little settlement figure now. Here's a little couple mil just to let you know that we're serious, and see you in January, bro. Not a problem. That can happen. Maybe the hypothetical of me just adding in the backhander, that's a bit, maybe that's a bit sensationalist. But what I'm saying is the principle of sorting out a pre-agreement before a pre-agreement. Don't think those things ain't happening. You don't think Mino Raiola is saying Man United are playing hardball, they're not going to let Paul go for that 5 million. So we're going to have to stay. But Man United have to weigh that up. And for me, this is why I don't want that to happen. I get that we have to try and play hardball, but we can only do that so often, so far. I do not want a saga, a circus around our team because Paul Pogba hasn't signed a contract and he's going into the last season on a free. Don't get me wrong, it could play out one of two ways. Pogba can continue to be professional because there hasn't been the resolution that he wanted, knowing that he's going to get his move in January, or his pre-contract in January, and we might be all right. But the other side of it is, even on a normal day when Paul Pogba hasn't even done anything, well, he hasn't done anything usually, when his agent hasn't done anything or whatever, it's all about Paul Pogba. He's a superstar. Imagine what it will be like with Paul Pogba, with our team. Say we started the season well. I don't know, it gets to October, November times. We're second in the league, 2 points off top. I'm painting a crazy scenario. Not crazy scenario. I'd love to be in that position or top. We're doing well. And then it's getting towards January, and all we start getting is in the pressers, around the club, Paul Pogba, what's he going to do? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? We just don't need that. We're trying to kick this team on. We just don't need that. Conversely, on the other hand, what if we're doing badly by then? What if Ollie gets a bad start? Fingers crossed he doesn't, but say we're not doing too well and we have another slow start. October, November, we're sixth, already 6 to 9 points off the top. This is just pessimistic flex talking. Getting towards October, November, so the team's already not doing well. Pressure's on Ollie. What's Pogba doing? Where's he going to go? We just don't need it. And I don't think Manchester United want that. And that, I think, in turn, would be unfair on the current players that are there. That would be unsettling for the team. That would be unsettling for Jadon Sancho and hopefully Raphael Varane and players like this who are just coming into the club. So, look, I see both sides of it. You've got to see both sides of it. You've always got two parties. You've got the player and you've got the club. And you've got the agents. You've got three parties. But I still feel that I stand by what I said. If he doesn't want to go, we've got to sell him. If that means, for me, losing out on a few million quid because of it, sometimes you just got to take the L. Especially if it's your fault. He's been our player since 2016. He came back here. He's been our player since then. What we've done with him in that time is all on us, or what we've not done with him. In terms of his performances, obviously he's got to take some responsibility, etc., for not being as consistent, all of that stuff. But I still think he's been good for us, and I still think he can continue to be good for us. But in terms of the contract situation, that's on us. We can't expect to have that situation going on, but still be able to come out as profitable and as up as we wanted to be because we've let the contract run down to the last year. You've got to take the L on that, bro. You've got to take the L. So taking the L would mean if we have to sell him for 45, 46, 47, fair play. Not fair play, but we have to just take the L. I think that's better than letting him go into the season and gambling. Because I do think that's a gamble. It's a gamble. For me, it's a 50-50 chance. And the 50-50 chance is this. We can gamble, and one side of the gamble could be we let Paul Pogba stay and run his contract down so he can leave for free. But he gels really well with all the other players, and we're a better team, and we're playing amazing football in a new 4-3-3 system, and we smash it. And amazingly, don't get me wrong, I wish this could happen, we win the league. If I could paint the perfect picture, that's what I'd paint. I'd ask people, what if you could sort out this Paul Pogba situation, what would you do? My thing, a lot of people would say, he stays for an extra year. We give him the Ronaldo treatment. Stay one more year, Paul, we'll let you go next year. But while you're there, sign this. And I've said this many times, sign this so it protects us, so we can get a decent price for you. You're going to have a great season because we believe in you. We're going to change things around. We've got these players coming in. The formation's going to change. It's going to be a big year for you. You can be playing central midfield. So your stock is almost going to rise. It's not going to go down. Plus, you're going to have 2 years left. Sign this 3-year extension. 1 year of playing. You've got 2 years left. PSG, Real Madrid coming for you next year. Everything's settled. Fans have been back around the world. You know what I mean? We'll get 60 million for you there. That is my ideal thing. Then Pogba plays well for the whole year, knowing that that's in the locker. and we win a trophy or challenge for the league or win it, whatever. We do well. The second most positive thing is that, which is a gamble, is that Pogba doesn't sign the contract and we go, okay, cool, we're just going to let you go on a free. But we're gambling that his head's going to be there, the squad's not going to be unsettled, and we have a good season. And Paul Pogba plays out of his skin because he's like, you know what, I know I'm leaving. I'm going to remain professional and we'll see how it goes. I'm not saying Paul Pogba doesn't have that in him. What I won't do is, like I said, is question Paul Pogba's professionalism. Because anytime he's on that pitch, anytime he's in and around that squad, he does the right things for me. He does. And they were putting him in front of the media a lot more towards the back end of last season, letting him talk. The times when they was trying to sit Jose down and put comments, that was all planned. They wanted Paul Pogba at the forefront of that. When 6 months prior to that, he was nowhere near the media. That, for me, at the time, was like a big indication that he was going to stay. He's been pictured in the new kit. He's been, one of the front covers of the kit, of course, because he's our biggest probably commodity in terms of selling shirts at the moment. Jadon Sancho would probably have something to say about that. But Paul Pogba is the superstar of the team, probably sells the most shirts. That's another indication as to, he's in there posing like this. He's posing like that. Like, for him to leave with that happening, I just feel that there's a want for him to stay. That's my feeling. Now, that's why these kind of reports coming out from the Mirror is a little bit more, that's a bit weird. Like, the tide's turning. I think it's 50-50. I think whatever it is, whether he stays or goes, I honestly think Paul Pogba has made his mind up. I think he's made his mind up a long time ago. He's never been shy of saying, I want to try a new thing. He said it when we was on tour in flipping China in 2019. He said, I want to try a new challenge. He said it then. So I think he's probably wanted to go then, but then he had, 3 years left on his deal about that. So for me, he's always wanted to leave. I think he's made his mind up already. That has happened. I just think he's been respectful enough, like what Varane's kind of doing, which we're hearing, which I'll get to not kind of throw the toys out the pram, not say I'm not playing, not look happy, not be happy with the squad. He ain't got no beef with the players or Ollie. He respects Ollie. We know that. But I just think he wants a new task. And I think Manchester United are working on a way that they can give that to him whilst protecting themselves. That's what you got to do. So it's a gamble. Back to my original point. It is a massive gamble saying that. And that's why I personally wouldn't take the gamble. Let me know what you lot are saying in the comments, in the boxes below. Would you take that gamble of saying, Per Carlson was saying that to me just before we finished the season. He was saying, don't be surprised to see Paul Pogba stay and run his contract down because you're better off having him for a year. And he gave me an alternative kind of look, and I never really thought of it like that. And now I've had time to think about it. I still stick with my side of my opinion, which is that I just don't want him staying and running it down for free, even though he's good. It can work out because I do think Pogba's professionalism can carry him through. I just don't want that gamble. The stakes are too high. The pressure's too high on Ollie as it is to produce by even getting these players. And if he keeps Paul Pogba, it just adds that dynamic of extra pressure in of if you're not doing well by a certain stage, it's getting to January, media's stoking it up. We can't get away from it. The players can't get away from it. It can just add to a bad start. Or, like I said, conversely, it can go the right way and he knuckles down and has the season of his lifetime because he plays out of his skin because he knows it's his last year. It's just a gamble I wouldn't be prepared to take. If I was on the table doing red or black, I would take what I currently have. I wouldn't bet on that. I wouldn't bet on it. I don't like that. I don't like the odds, even though it's 50-50. I don't like it. I'd be pessimistic on that one. So let me know what you guys think about that. Paul Pogba is supposedly, according to reports in Daily Mirror, rejected a 350 grand a week deal at Manchester United. Just to recap on that, I think if that's happened, sell him, cash in, and get a replacement. Donny van de Beek is there. There is not one single player that you can buy that can outright replace Paul Pogba. You can't. Could you build a more cohesive midfield in a different way, in a different style? Of course you can. The club's not going to... The thing is as well, I think it's really important as well, right? And this isn't coming from a place that, like I said, where I hate Paul Pogba. You guys have just seen for 20 minutes what I think of Paul Pogba. But if he leaves, Manchester United won't be in this place that I think everyone thinks. I don't think if he leaves, we'll be absolutely on the floor. I don't. Of course, if he leaves, we lose a chunk of that creativity, a lot of it. But that is the big question mark. Can Ollie then find a way to play without him? We've played many games without Paul Pogba with just McTominay and Fred and Bruno in there when Pogba weren't even playing and won games. We can win games without Paul Pogba. Can we win leagues without him? Well, we haven't won a league even with him. So it's more than just Paul Pogba as to why we haven't won the league. That's down to Ollie and his coaching staff. Do you trust them? Whole different video. Do you believe that Ollie can adjust and be tactically astute enough to come up with a different system to play without Paul Pogba? Different video, different question, different opinion, different argument. I understand that. But don't think that Paul Pogba leaving his football club means that Man United are in ruins. I don't buy into that. Pogba hasn't been that consistent of a player and performed at the highest level, 10 out of 10 every week, and we've won major honours with him, and he's an integral piece of the puzzle of our success in this time he's been here, that if he leaves, we're effed. I don't believe that. I think we lose his abilities, which you can't instantly go and buy. But with the 45 million, 50 million extra budget, we have to have a plan in place. That is where my concern is, though. Having that plan should Paul Pogba leave. I've maintained the whole way through this summer so far and leading into the summer that I think we want to do as little deals as possible in terms of replacing players that we already have. We want to add and keep the outgoings or the significant outgoings to the first teamers down to a minimum. Like I said in the last show, not the show yesterday, the show before. It's like trying to look after this area, but that area's fallen and you've got to go repatch that, but you're still trying to build over here. We want to add to our first 11. That's what we want to do. And Paul Pogba's part of that. We've got the back four sorted. We're trying to add to our first 11 to make it popping. Sancho's going to do that. Varane's going to do that. Fingers crossed if he comes. We've already got the back four sorted. And we need another midfielder. Rashford sorted on the left / Martial. Greenwood, Cavani up front, or Greenwood on the right, whatever. We're building. Bruno's fine in a 10. And Paul Pogba's part of that starting 11 as well. If he goes, it's another gap to go fill. Now, Donny van de Beek in a new system, like I said yesterday, in a 4-3-3, it'll be perfect for him. We'd have to play in a different way. Donny van de Beek can't do what Paul Pogba does. But if we played in a different system, you can cover the gap of Paul Pogba leaving and play in a different way. It's all, like I said, it's almost a whole different video topic. You know, Solskjaer's tactical changes. Can Solskjaer change or whatever? It has to be a whole different discussion. But that's what would need to happen if Paul Pogba leaves. Manchester United wouldn't be ruined. Ronaldo's left the club. Beckham's left the club. Keane's left the club. Cantona's left the club. Big players have left. Big players that have won a lot of stuff. Van Nistelrooy's left the club. We've evolved every time. And I'm not saying that Paul Pogba's crap and we can easily replace him. It doesn't matter. But what I'm saying is don't be scared for Paul Pogba to leave. Be upset because, you know, you really like him like I do and you want him to stay and you know how good he can be. And how good would it be to see him with the likes of Varane, Martial, Sancho, Bruno, another central defensive midfielder, and see us really kick on next year? I want to see that. But at the same time, I'm not like, oh my God, what are we going to do? We're effed. There's no chance we can do anything next year because Paul Pogba's gone. I'm not in that camp. I'm not. And I know a lot of people are. My thing to you would be, just don't be too scared about evolution without Paul Pogba. We can do it. We can do it. Whether we will or not is a different question. But if it's done right, with the resources we already have with Donny van de Beek, with the transfer money that will be there from Paul Pogba leaving, there will be money there to go and get a couple of replacements. We're already going to look at a midfield even with Pogba staying. So if Pogba leaves, we need two midfielders. We need an attacking midfielder and we need a defensive midfielder. So let's see how it plays out. Let's see how this pans out. I think it's going to go right down to the wire. My gut feeling is that he's going to leave. We've all had our emotions with this. Is he going to go? Is he going to stay, etc.? My gut feeling is that he's going to stay. He's going to leave. And I think we'll get the transfer fee for him. And I see that happening. As it stands, this time next week it could be a completely different story. And as it stands, it's only one kind of big outlet saying that. Like Romano hasn't come out and said, you know, this is what's going on. Yep, he's talking to PSG currently. Romano's been quite quiet on Paul Pogba right now. You know, people like Fjortov and Falk haven't come out and said, true, this is what's happening. It's just the Daily Mirror as it stands, you know. It's just David McDonald from the Mirror. So, and that's no disrespect to him. Like I said, he's followed by a lot of, you know, reputable outlets and journalists. So he's obviously well respected. But as it stands, there's only one report kind of claiming this. we did not one report claiming that PSG want Paul Pogba, because we know that many people have reported that. But in terms of this new thing of he's rejected a 350 grand a week contract. So we'll see. We'll see what happens later on today. We'll see what happens in the coming weeks. Paul Pogba's going to be back, I think, this week for pre-season. So we'll have to see. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. Varane, Raphael Varane, little bit of an update on him. He has arrived at Real Madrid. What has been reported is, and again from the Mirror, that Manchester United and Real Madrid are 10 million apart in their valuation for Raphael Varane. Talks are ongoing between the two clubs. Madrid are holding out for a fee of 50 million for Varane, while United are only willing to pay 40. So apparently it's been a bit of a stumbling block. There was reports that the deals hit a snag. Romano kind of come out and said that isn't the case. I touched on that yesterday, so I won't go back into it today. I think the important kind of little bit of an update and little bit of a discussion point is the fact that Varane has gone back to Madrid. He's arrived there. Now, don't panic. Don't panic. He has to. He's still a Real Madrid player. That's just fairly routine. He wanted it. The reports were claiming that Raphael Varane wanted this sorted before he came back. He didn't want to go back to Real Madrid. He wanted to go back to Manchester United. But he's been there over 10 years. He's going to treat the club with respect. We've heard how he wants to maintain his relationship and not kind of ruffle any feathers. He wants it done properly, amicably, and his exit to be as smooth as possible and respectful. I've got no problem with that. We're going to have to be patient on this. A few in the know accounts on Twitter have been saying, look, don't expect this deal to be done just like that. The reports, I do believe that the reports of deal imminent, agreement imminent, etc., I just don't think those are true. We've discussed them here on United View as we discuss whatever's been put out in the media as a talking point. But I think clearly we're seeing that's just not true. What we do know is true is dialogue between the two clubs, dialogue between our club and Raphael Varane, and the willingness for the player to come here. But also what we know is that nothing's been agreed. We haven't even and then the reports that the first bid has gone in and it's been rejected as well. Again, if that is the case, don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed. I said this is gonna drag out, and because of like what PSG are trying to do to us, we kind of hold the cards of testing Real Madrid's resolve. They need to sell the player. They don't want to miss out on him. Apparently, they want to raise money for Mbappe. Apparently, that's what they want to do, and they don't want to lose out. Of course, they don't. They want to cash in. If you want to cash in, you don't just go in with the highest bid. Like I said, if it gets to 2 weeks, a week and a half before the season, and we still ain't agreed a fee, then I'll be saying, all right, Man United, for our own good, don't cut your nose off to spite your face, is the saying, I believe. Yeah, just pay the money. Just pay the money. Just pay what it is. But right now, we can afford to go in with the first bid. It's a little bit below valuation. Let's try again. Let's go back again in a couple of days with this. How about this? No, not that. Okay, what about this plus add-ons? It has to happen. And in the meanwhile, Varane is still a Real Madrid player. He is going to have to do his pre-season there. And that's what we're seeing with Raphael Varane. He's going to do his pre-season there as it stands. So don't be alarmed. Look, there are people getting worried that this deal might not happen. I haven't seen anything enough from the journalists and outlets involved to suggest that the deal's hit a snag and it's not going to happen anymore. I just think what we're seeing is the consistent message that's been put out, which is that they haven't agreed a fee. Varane, up until recently, hasn't even officially told Real Madrid that he wants to leave. And actually, him being back there, I think is a good thing. I personally think is a good thing. And the reason why I do is because it gives him a chance to be there, have the conversations face to face with the president, with the manager, be around his teammates or whatever. I know it's not ideal. It would have been nice to have him just fly straight to Manchester after his holidays. But this is the transfer business. That doesn't happen. You know, things don't happen quickly, especially a transfer of this magnitude, which looks fairly easy because it's just us and them and a player on his last year of his contract. You'd think it's quite easy, but it doesn't work like that. We haven't agreed a fee. So the fact that he's back in Madrid, I think will probably make it easier to have those conversations with the people that are there. So for me, I'm not worried. I cannot lie to you. You lot know how emotionally invested I am in this Varane transfer. I cannot lie to you. If this move breaks down, I will be devastated. I'm not saying that we won't go and find someone else and that person might not be, can't have a good career at Manchester United. We'll see. Touch wood. Honestly, we've got to get him. We've got to get him, which is why I'm just remaining patient. I'm remaining chilled. I'm remaining calm. And also just sticking to, breaking it down. When you get a bit worried about a transfer, you just got to break it down. Okay, what's been reported and by who? What's been a consistent message? And like I said, with the domestic guys, You know, Manchester Evening News, Daily Mail, BBC, you got Simon Stone, these types of guys. You know, from the domestic based journalists, when they start saying, yeah, talks are positive and talks are ongoing, I believe that they get their information from the club. You know, the foreign journalists, not so much so. They get their information from people close to the deal on the other side, either the selling club or the agents or the players themselves, who knows. But they have a different link and connection. Our journalists are usually late to jump on stuff. I've stressed this many times. So if you're panicking, I'm almost giving you a little woosah. Just chill. Don't worry. Don't get me wrong. If something breaks from some reputable people and it picks up steam and it has that feel that the deal's going the wrong way, don't worry. We will be here talking about it here on United View, and I probably won't be as calm as this. I'll probably be fuming, but it hasn't happened yet, and we have to wait. We have to just wait this one out and see how it goes. Anyway, thanks very much for watching United View today of your latest Man United transfer update. Smash a like on the video. Let me know how you're feeling about the Paul Pogba situation. Would you just let him go? Would you keep him? I think this is going to be really interesting. We're going to talk to some fans about this, and we're going to let you guys know what they think about that very soon as well. Because to be fair, it's split. I speak to a lot of people who say, mate, if they want to be a CLA, I speak to other people. They're like, keep him at all costs. He must stay. We shall see. But thanks for watching United View wherever you are around the world. Big up yourselves, and I will see you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow, just to let you guys know. We'll be at the QPR game. If you're at the QPR game, whether you're in the home end, if you're in the away end, whatever, come see us. And we're going to be capturing the views of the fans as well after the game. So I will see you guys tomorrow after the game. Peace.